could find me in the 305, B-O-side 95. So Patrick Daddy with it in the slip and slide. Secure the bag and flip them stacks and make some more. Plant the seed and watch it grow. Now we booming like a stove, hey, like we at the stove. Come shot for a float.
Welcome to the Game of Life Mentoring Podcast. I'm your host, Gale Nelson, President and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters Miami. What you just heard was little Jay Vilpin, and guess who's in the studio with his big brother? We got Jay Vilpin in the house and the Michael McCullough, Executive Vice President, Chief Marketing Officer of our Miami Heat. Michael, welcome to the studio, brother. You know,
thank you, Gale. It's always great to be here.
Thank you, brother. Jay, little bro, that music sounds pretty good.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
No doubt. So thank you both for being here. And wow, Michael, back in 2008, a relationship was formed. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about that first experience meeting this young man.
Well, we were just talking about, we had just started our program, and Gene was the first little I ever had. Yeah. And this little kid comes in who can't sit still. Can't stop talking, and had this infectious smile and great personality. But he was just a little unfocused, right? Just a little unfocused. But you could tell, like, it was all there. Like, everything that we're seeing here now today was evident back in 2008. It was just like, how do we get him to harness that energy and that drive and that enthusiasm that he had for life and everything that he was doing? How do we just get it channeled? And that's what we focused on. Those 4 years was like getting Gene ready for this kind of success.
And when you think about that, I'm going to stay with you for a minute, Michael. When this little guy, and again, when you've heard Gene and Jay, right. there's a branding. You know a little bit about marketing, Michael, and so there's a little branding taking place. So obviously his name is Gene Vilpin, but he's got a brand now too. So when you saw that transformation with Gene, what did you do, and when did you see that turn take place? Because he was awarded, we invested in him pretty significantly through our partnership with Carnival.
Yeah, Jay earned the scholarship.
There you go.
Right, we didn't give him anything.
There you go.
He earned it, and we started talking about that right as he was a freshman. Because Jay's grades weren't where they needed to be for the scholarship, and so we would focus on that all the time. Like, dude, this is a great opportunity. Like, you get this scholarship, and it's going to open up all these doors for you. But we had, again, focus and, like, concentrate on the grades and get those grades in place. And then once we got comfortable with that, I remember we talked about the interview process, and we really wanted to focus on that because it was like, you got to go in there and you got to let these people know that they should be investing in you. Make the case. Yeah. Make the case.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. So, Jay, tell me about, there's so much we're going to talk about in terms of music. We already heard a little taste. Well, that was Get Right, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Get Right.
That was Get Right. Yes, so speaking of getting right and you staying focused and with your big brother Michael here in studio with you, when you first met him, what was going on in your world?
At that point in my life, I was in marching band. Was I in ninth grade? I was at Michael Crop High School. It was very hard for me to adjust because I was going to schools in my area, in the Little Haiti Morningside area, like Little River, Phyllis Miller, stuff like that. So going to a magnet school for the first time was very weird for me, because I was honestly one of the only black kids in all of my classes. Like, literally, there'd be 2-3 black kids in the whole class at that time because I wasn't gifted. And it was very, very hard for me to adjust in school, grades-wise and things like that. But I was able to figure it out thanks, a lot of help to Mike, And Ansel, I'll give him his props.
There you go. Shout out to Ansel. And you had some folks and you were going over to the Heat, just to be clear for our audience. We're here in studio with big brother Michael McCullough with his alumni little brother, grown man now, Jay Vilpin. And so you were a part of a school to work program. So once a month, you would leave the high school and go to the arena. Yeah. I mean, the home of the Miami Heat. So your first time walking in that building, I mean, what went through your mind?
Oh, man. I just thought it was just cool, man. I was just like, man, look at all this stuff. Like this is how business happens. I was really intrigued in the inner workings of it, because you see everything on TV, and I was always a kid that wondered, okay, how does this happen though? How? So seeing a lot of the hows was really cool to me, and him showing me, and like a lot of times we would sit, he would let me sit in on his meetings, and I would watch as he would interact with these different companies or different people within the heat, and strike those deals and get those decisions to make those things happen. It was really cool.
He put you in the room where it happens.
Yeah.
And
Literally.
let's take it one step deeper. To see a black man handle in a position of authority, handling his business, did that impact you in any way?
It actually impacted me a lot, because like I do have a dad, and he's a very he also is an authoritative figure as well, and in the community he's also very big in the community. He actually got a day in Miami. September 18th is Gene Vilpin Day.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Having more than one of a pillar like that was super dope, man, because a lot of people don't get that, and I really feel like having more than one black man that really believed in me and what I was doing, and showing me like how he's living his life, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do spin classes, and having side hustles, and his kids are all going to college, and like I saw that, and I thought that was super dope. So yeah,
Michael, we spend time. Shout out to our friends over at Carnival. But we spend time talking to a lot of kids, at least 2 days out of every year.
Right.
And there's a pattern. I've heard the word consistent. We talked about it pre-show. Jay mentioned consistency and how that's helped him. We have so many talented kids in our South Florida area, and of course across the world, but the inconsistency with adults. And when you put your little brother in a room where it happens, and you're a father too. So again, why is it so important, if you will, to have that consistency and for kids to see business take place?
Well, when I first started having Gene, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to change my schedule.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Gene, I got meetings, Gene's coming along. And I was dragging him all over the place. Like, we got to go over here, and we got to go over here, because that's my day. That's why I love my job so much, because I'll do 20 different things in a day. And while Gene was there for those 4 or 5 hours, he was just coming along with me. So he would get to see me do all these different things and engage with all these different people. Yeah. And that was important to me, just see what I do. And I wasn't trying to impress him. I just want you to get this breadth of experience and see how things happen. And then, we would talk about my kids, and I would tell them what's going on with my kids in my house. And, you come to my office and all my records are up, and we're
going to talk about that.
Sometimes we would just talk about records. We spend the entire time, we just get records out, and we'd be talking about
hold on
stuff.
Hold on a second. So, Michael, I need you to explain to our audience what your office, take them on a virtual tour of your office. It's going to tie right in. Perfect segue. You should really be in marketing, brother. It's a perfect segue into Jay's musical journey. So, when you walk into the office of Michael McCullough, what do you see?
Well, the first thing that you're going to see when you walk in, on the back walls, I've got all this incredible vinyl on display in all these cubbies. There's like 18 cubbies, and there's always vinyl on display. And if you open up the cabinet, I've got hundreds of albums stacked up. Yeah. And the thing is, and Gene got to do this sometimes too, is there's always a theme with the vinyl, and you've got to figure out what the theme is. It could be similar producers. It could be, a specific genre or anything. But Gene and I would get the records out, and we would I'd let Gene let's figure out a theme. And then anybody that's in our office, they come to my office and they look and they try to figure out what the theme is. Can we stump them? And that was always a thing. So we would always we'd always play with that. But that's a big part of my life, is a big part of his life, and that's one of the great things about Big Brothers Big Sisters is the matches. Yeah, we were a perfect match. I mean, we really were. He loved trumpet players. I was into Miles, and we would just sit and talk about stuff. So the matching is great, because it gives you those commonalities and those things that make it easy for you to converse. And that takes away the difficulty of actually getting down to do whatever the work is that needs to be done and the help that needs to be offered. Once you have that commonality and that ease of the relationship, everything else just flows.
So you're peeling back the onion, if you will, because the connection, here's an accomplished black man, here's a little brother that sees that. You're in the business meetings, seeing the negotiations and the strategy, a solid brand like the Miami Heat, and we're all representing brands today. That we're going to talk about that as well. Powerful. But then the musical connection. So to your point, Michael, seeing your little brother's interest in music and how you all could bond, and just another point of connection.
Yeah.
So now, Jay, music. Yeah. When did you first become interested in music? And take us on your musical journey.
Well, I first got into music around 9 years old. I always I liked hip hop and stuff like that. I kind of got into that a little bit later than everybody else, because everybody was listening to that as like 4th grade, 3rd grade. You know what I'm saying? But my parents really tried to separate me from that type of stuff. But they wanted me to do something, and at that point I was in art. So I picked up trumpet. They actually forced me to play trumpet. I wanted to play the drums, but I didn't have the focus at the time that it took to play the drums. I can now play the drums. I just don't. But I didn't have the focus at the time to do it. So they gave me a horn, and I guess maybe they thought that I had the natural apt for it. And I just started playing trumpet. And that was from around 4th, 5th grade up until, until now. But I got into college. Well, I got into high school. I got into Miami Beach. Well, I got into Michael Crop first. And at Michael Crop, I was in the magnet program. I actually auditioned for the art program. But they said that the art program was full, and they asked if I had any other talents. And I was like, I play trumpet in church. Like, I can get it.
Go grab it.
Like, and they're like, yeah, get it. And I was really like, okay. So then I went and I got it. I took the little theory test, and then I played my trumpet for Mr. Seidel at Michael Crop. And
Seidel?
Yes, Pringle Seidel. He ended up, he liked me because I guess I played, because I was from Horace Mann and in that little Haiti area, and he really wanted to bring me over there. So I was there for a little while. Like I said earlier, it was kind of hard for me to adjust with the school aspect of things, with the academic side, because I was in all gifted classes. So I ended up leaving Crop. I went to Miami Edison for a while, and then from Miami Edison, I jumped over to Miami Beach. And then from Miami Beach, I joined the marching band there. And the teacher, he was a University of Miami graduate, and he was like, yo, you're going to be the best trumpet player in the world, man. You're going to be an artist, bro. You're going to do it. Yeah, man. Just do it. So he encouraged me to go to band camp and things like that at FAMU, and I took those opportunities. I auditioned for the Heat band around that same time, actually. Got in, and I was the youngest person in the Heat band for a very long time. For at least 5 years, from like 2009, 2010, all the way up until like I left for college for good in 2014. But I left in 2012. So in 2012, I went to FAMU, but the band had got suspended the year before. So it was a weird situation. The school was not very active. But I did still have my scholarship, and we were still performing and doing things, but just with the smaller ensembles and wind ensembles and things like that, jazz band, stuff like that. So, but my mom got into a car accident, and I really wanted to work and not have to worry about my mom sending me money. So I came back to Miami in 2013 for a year, and then went back to FAMU in 2014 to graduate. And then from 2014, in 2016 is when I finally graduated. I was section leader at FAMU. Of the Marching 100, we went to Carnegie Hall, performed at Carnegie Hall. We did a million other things that may or may not come up in the conversation. But Carnegie Hall being definitely one of the more important ones.
That's a nice place.
Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, New
Let's
York City.
pause for a minute, because Michael alluded to it, and you've said it a couple of times. As I look at this young man here, Michael, gifted program.
Yes.
You earned and were awarded a scholarship. You were one of the recipients. You graduated with class of 2012. And upon graduation from Beach High, you earned a scholarship. that took you
Yeah.
to the HBCU in Tallahassee.
Yes, sir.
Florida A&M, home of the Rattlers. There you go, right on cue, right on cue. You should be in marketing too. You've been around some great marketing people. I'm telling you, we're gonna go on the road. We're all gonna go on tour. And so in the Marching 100, performing at Carnegie Hall.
Yes,
I
sir.
want that I have to say it.
Yeah.
Just to hit that nail one more time. And so, Michael, as you saw, and you, of course, you all have kept in touch over the years and stay in touch. I mean, how'd that make you feel, seeing this young, musically inclined brother just being exposed on the biggest of stages?
Well, it was fantastic. And the most important thing that did for me was made me want to keep being a big brother.
Come on.
That success with Gene was like, I want to replicate that. Like, I want to keep doing this because I'm certainly not going to take credit for who I see sitting here, but I know I had an impact.
Yeah, you did.
Whatever, big, little, whatever. I know I had an impact on Jay's life in a positive way. And I helped him achieve what he's achieving now. Like, you think about in sports, like your coaching tree. And with me, it's like I'm not a coach, but I have a legacy behind me now with littles.
Yeah, you do. How many?
Gene's my first. I'm on my fourth little now.
Oh, dope, man.
I'm on my fourth little. So
Did you know that, big bro? Not
actually
that,
didn't.
that makes you a big brother.
Yeah,
so from
right?
little brother to big brother.
I got nephews.
I love that. I love that. So legacy.
Yeah. So I wanted to keep going, and I wanted to keep going, but the inspiration was Jay. Like, he inspired me to keep doing this.
How's this man impacted your life?
Man, like showing me organization, showing me consistency, showing me what it looks like to be an African American man and do the things that he does, and being able to talk and be in certain places and people see him. And there's no color, there's no bias, you're listening to what this man is saying, and there's this happening, He also has patience. He had a lot of patience. He has a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's a lot of things that I can just describe just thinking about it. But he spoke a lot of life into me, and just showed me that I can do more than just what my parents have told me that I can do, even more than what like the world has told me that I can do, and even what my life experiences has, like I literally saw like, wow, like this is what it's supposed to look like. This is the American dream right here. Like this is it right here. So I really appreciate that for that model and for him to pour those things into me,
Igniting the power and potential of our youth. Igniting, pun intended, with the heat. I do that from time to time. Michael will tell you. And that is our national mission statement I just quoted. We ignite the power and promise of our youth. And what you just said took me there. But let's look at this thing full circle. You mentioned Mr. Bringle Seidel. He was in the building 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
We had about 50 young kids from Liberty City in this building, and they did a performance.
Was it a music project?
A music project. We just did some demonstrations, if you will, and we have over 50 littles that signed up to get involved in music.
Nice.
And so if you know a trumpet player available like on Saturday, April 16th, maybe we can talk just to grace the stage for a minute. So speak, because then you're a busy brother. You just got off tour.
Yeah, yes.
You just got off tour. And talk to us about the exposure and your musical journey as well.
Yeah, I just got off tour with Drumline Live. Drumline Live is a theater group based off of the Black Experience. When you go to an HBCU, it started with the same producers as Drumline, the movie that was in 2003. And we're notably popular for the Beyonce 2018 Coachella performance that's on Netflix right now. We actually got a Grammy for that as well.
Very nice.
Drumline Live, I've been touring with them for a while. It's a very cool. It's all black production, literally 100%. And
That's all right.
Yeah, and it's super dope, man.
And so you mentioned to us when you were out, I think in Los Angeles. You look in the audience,
Yes.
and so you're performing on stage.
Yes.
And we're gonna just name drop a little bit. You're on stage performing, little bro, and you look out and you see whom?
Herbie Hancock,
Rocket.
Angela Bassett, and a couple more big wigs that I just was like, I could not believe this. I'm performing in front of these people and they're clapping for us. Wow.
That's pretty special.
Yeah. Angela Bassett was going, she's like, ah!
I mean, it's something about the beat.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, it's in our culture. It's just music is a big part of that. Let's take it back to, you mentioned your mom and how hard she worked.
Mm-hmm.
And as we think about just music and the messages, and your mom's a police officer.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, man. Oh, well, my mom, she came here from Haiti. Well, she came from Haiti via Bahamas, and she is a police officer now. She actually learned how to read and write English here in the States after her 18th birthday. So she was illiterate for a very, very, very long time. And but she really wanted to learn how to do that. She also was overweight. She was about 305 pounds or something like that, and she lost over about 100 some pounds, 120, 130 pounds, and joined the police academy. Yeah, I watched her do all of that, and she went through it twice because she broke her ankle on the last month, and she had to start all over. And she went through it twice, and now she trained. She's like a field training officer, I believe it is. Yeah.
How long she been a police officer?
Is now about 10, 11 years now.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that message, that message of resilience and what she's gone through, that helps you just keep it moving.
Man.
Keep it moving.
Man, my mom is a G. Yeah.
Michael, let's talk branding. We referenced it earlier. There's so many brands represented. I mean, obviously, you're in charge of that Heat brand, and you all just set the stage. And personal and professional brand. This young man's got a brand too, that's in studio, and people can see it right now. Good stuff. We're going to talk about that. But when you think about the right stuff, the good stuff, Michael, in terms of marketing, for these kids to recognize they have a personal brand. If they're a part of a company, there's a professional brand. How important is that for kids to maintain a positive brand and reputation?
Well, it's incredibly important. And what I tell kids, Jay's age, and when I speak to kids all the time, the first thing I tell them is, at your age, the only thing that you have to worry about marketing is yourself. That means your grades. That means how you present yourself. That means how you conduct yourself. Like, your personal brand as a young person is almost all within your control. And you got to get a handle on that, right? You got to get a handle on that. And I tell kids that all the time. And then as they start to get a little bit older and start to look for jobs and filling out applications and all that, I'm on them. And you probably remember, I'm on them about grammar, spelling, website addresses that aren't stupid,
Email address.
email addresses that aren't dumb, like all these things that
Yes.
all speak about you when we don't even know people are looking at you. Things that you are completely under your control. You guys got to be thinking about these things, and you don't have to overthink it, but if you have an email address, think about your email address.
I will never forget. I got to do this, Michael. I use this example all the time.
Right.
I think it was one of the first times I met you, and
Right.
you're presenting, and you said, if you send me an email with cutie with a booty at yahoo.com, and that's just, again.
Sexy
just-
face 69.
Yeah. You said, I'm throwing it away.
That's my favorite one. That's a legitimate email address.
Yeah.
QT with the booty.
You should see the parents that I've had when I was a teacher.
Oh,
man.
it's like, come on, man.
Parents.
Yeah, their emails, man.
Parents. No, let's say that again.
Ooh, parents, yeah.
Parents. So as we talk mentoring, as we talk music, as we talk branding, that stuck with me. I went home that night. I'm like, listen, if I see it, I told my kids, I said, this brother did this session that was so powerful. If I see anybody QT with the, I said, I know.
Yeah. Garbage.
Garbage.
I'm throwing it away.
Yeah.
I'm throwing it away. So I try to make sure that they get that information, because maybe QT with the booty didn't have anybody in her ear saying, look, you think that's a good email address to fill out on that application for
right.
McDonald's? Think about that. Again, when you're that young and you're trying to get that first job, or you're meeting the parents of that guy or that girl that you're interested in. Like, you know, you don't think they're gonna like go ahead and start to stalk you online?
That's right.
And they see these pictures and everything else. Like, it's all about how you present yourself and how you represent yourself and what you want to put out there.
There you go.
In the world about you. I don't go and try to, tell people to sanitize their social media. I just have to think about that's your brand that you're putting yourself out in the world. How do you want people to look at you?
And you got quite a few people to work for you, Michael. And when you make that employment decision, I'm sure checking social media is part of that portfolio. We're just gonna pick. You want to work in marketing? Let's see what you got out there.
Now, look, it's important. It's important. You're gonna represent the Miami Heat.
Come on.
And I always tell people, like, if you want to represent my brand, because I'm very protective about my brand. If you're gonna represent my brand, I'm going to dive into your brand first and see how you present yourself. And again, going back to QT with the booty, resumes, cover letters, like there's some stupid easy mistakes that people make, and look, I appreciate the hustle that you want to get a job with one of the teams in Miami, right? But when I get a form letter that says, hey, dear Michael, I'm very interested in working for the Miami Marlins, because you're sending a form letter out and you didn't check it to make sure you switched out Miami Marlins for Miami Heat.
Attention to detail.
Guess what's happening with that letter? Garbage. I don't care what school you go to or anything like that. Like, again, representing yourself. That's who you're marketing. If you can't market yourself right, then you got no shot with us.
And speaking of marketing yourself, put that up on the screen for me, my man Lodge. So you were at Florida A&M.
Yes, sir.
If you will, and you all were just, I think, rapping and everything. So talk about your brand now, the good stuff.
The Good Stuff Entertainment. Oh, man, founded officially in 2020, but we've been around for a little while now. It is an independent hip-hop group. We are comprised of rappers, songwriters, producers, and creative directors as well, and all over Florida. Really, we have dudes. We have one guy stationed in Tampa, one in Tallahassee, one in Orlando, and me in Miami. And yeah, we sell beats. We run studio sessions. We put out content. We put out music. We have events. Yeah, man, we're a running record label. Yeah,
no doubt about it. No doubt. And one of the things Michael said earlier, just your smile. You're happy.
Yes, sir.
You're doing what you love. You have invested, again, you earned that scholarship. To Michael's point, you have taken full advantage of it, but you've also taught.
Yes, I did.
So let's talk about, we talked mentoring, we've talked music, we've talked messaging with branding, stay with the M's, if you will. But you've also taught kids. Talk about your teaching.
Yes, sir.
And you through mentorship as well.
Yeah. I was a band director. I've been a band director. Well, I was a band director in Tallahassee, and then I came back home to Miami. My band was Charles R. Drew in Liberty City, right there on 62nd Street. Shout out Linkview and all them people in Pugmies and every other neighborhood that's in that area.
That's right.
But yeah, it was super cool, man. I had a band of about it grew to about over 100 kids. Yeah,
the
dancers.
marching mini 100.
Yeah, the mini 100, man. It was cool, man. I had super talented kids, man. That area is it's a hotbed of just amazing kids, and like a lot of them have crazy situations and very intriguing stories, and you want to help them and do so much for them, and the way that I was able to do that not only through like the regular, like I call it the regular stuff, like the community stuff, but like just the being able to really speak life into them and impact them in showing them music and helping them find their passion, their talent. And of course, it wasn't for every kid. I was working in public school, but I did work at a magnet school, so a lot of the kids that I did bring in had the interest already, and I was able to cultivate that, and a lot of them now are section leaders in high school. A lot of them are creatives themselves, starting YouTube channels, things like that. One of my dancers, she was on Liberty City Warriors. It's one of the main characters, Destiny. And there's so many. I have kids that go to New World School of the Arts, a couple now. Yeah, it's super cool, man. It was super cool.
Michael, listen to him. I have kids that are now.
Right. You paid it forward. You paid it forward.
I'm still young, though. I'm still young.
We didn't say you were old, but Michael talked about his legacy of littles.
Right.
But now you're talking about it's music to our ears.
Yeah.
And so we're just sharing a moment there, literally, where I have kids that have done this. That is the impact, the power of mentoring. That's why I come to work every day. Mm-hmm. And I would be remiss, Michael, if I didn't thank you for your individual commitment, the Miami Heat, for just an incredible, it's a landmark partnership. I mean, there's nobody doing it better from a branding perspective, and it's clear the leadership of the Heat. So thank you, brother, for what you mean
Absolutely.
to me personally, but also professionally for our brands as well.
No, we believe in it. We believe in it. We bought in and jumped in with both feet. And like I said, I'm on my fourth little. This great freshman kid named David, who I just the relationship is very similar. This kid just texts me out of the blue. Like, David is so funny. He just sends me these texts out of the blue, and he's just like, I just ate the best hamburger in my life. You're never going to believe this. And he goes on to describe, like, how good this hamburger was. We just have this great relationship where he just texts me stuff, and we just go back and forth, and like, all right, man, we'll talk to you later. You know, we just have this relationship. But he's trying to do music, so I'm going to connect you guys.
That's
like
special.
He's trying to do music, and he's a smart kid. And I'm already on about the scholarship because, Gale, as you know, his brother, Leo, just received a scholarship.
Yes, he did.
And I'm like, David, that's you in 4 years, man.
Legacy.
4 years from now, that's you getting that scholarship, and we're going to get you there.
Full circle. I mentioned Seidel, and I just kind of, I want to come back to it. The music program here at Big Brothers Big Sisters. Bringle and his wife, Tanisha Seidel, are going to run the music program here.
Oh, wow. That's cool, man.
So, and just to put that, they own, Evolutionary Arts. And so that's, and the kids we brought in are from Liberty City. So you see what's happening full circle?
Wow.
The legacy of Littles, the legacy of music. There's so many, and it's Black History 365.
Yeah.
We ain't limiting anything to a month. And certainly not the shortest month of the year.
Ouch.
Black History 365, little bro. And so you get the last word. So for anybody out there that thinks, a little bit of time, Michael's with the Heat, and there's probably incentives for being a mentor. No, it's personal. It's a commitment from a corporate level, from an individual level. But I want you to close us out any way you want. You got a way with words. You're a walking marketing machine. So for anybody out there, big, little, just the power, the impact of mentoring, why should they get involved? And this ain't a commercial. This is real life. You're not here for some paid endorsement.
Yeah.
You all took time out to hang out with this brother in the studio, and I could not be more thankful.
I appreciate you, man.
It's all good. This is, as you can see, I hate my job. So, little bro, Jay Vilpin,
Yes, sir.
take us home.
Oh, man. The power of mentorship, man. Each one teach one, man. If you I believe in that Get Right song. I believe I said, if your homie's keeping knowledge from you, he's an op, right? So you need to be showing everything that you learn that can help your life and help somebody else's life, pour that into the next person. That time, that love, that support. I got to say, one good time, long live Jeff. That was my videographer, and he was a big advocate when it came to supporting in Black business and stuff like that, and just overall, just push your peoples, man, and consistency. That's the name of the game, because that's what keeps us here, man. And shout out to God, shout out to the good stuff, shout out to Big Brothers Big Sisters, shout out to Mike McCullough. Shout out to Mike Randall, Heat Band.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the Heat Band.
No doubt.
Another mentor of mine. And yeah, man, just shout out Ansel Pratt, And yeah, man, I just really appreciate you guys for having me here. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you guys for everything, man. Thank God for everything. And to more Black business and Black excellence, that part.
There you go.
Love it, little bro. Well, Michael, thank you, brother.
Got it, Gale. Anytime.
Jay.
Yes,
sir.
Respect. And I tell you what, it can all be summarized, and we can feel for what other people are going through and do whatever we can. one of our catchphrases here is, here on the Game of Life Mentoring Podcast, people want to sign up, bsmiami.org. In the Game of Life, everybody makes the team, but how you play is up to you. And the best way to play is with a little empathy. Let's go.
That part. Hey.
How would you feel if you was me? But you not. Think about why you hate. Is you jealous cause I'm hot? Could it be because I'm feeling fun? Get that guac. I don't play no basketball, but I'ma wear every shot.